All right. Okay, now. Wait a second, hold the phone. All right, what the fuck's going on here? Oh, look at that. Hey, James Boshu, what's happening? All right, let's see if I get this thing in order. Go live, 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 and live. Give me a few seconds. I'm still trying to get this thing figured out. All right, there we go. And that right there, and this right here. Well, that's not cooperating. Ah, no, that's not cooperating either. Just give me a few seconds. There we go. There we go. That's it. That's it. We're ready to roll. Yay! Woohoo! The crowd goes wild. Give me a couple of seconds while we get this warmed up. That's good. That's good. I'm still having issues with that. Oh, and that's streaming. Okay. So, all right. Okay. Just getting warmed up. There we go. And that should be it. Yes, we're ready to roll. Okay, so let's go back to the very beginning and see who is here today. Wow, I got quite a bit of people here today. Kenya, what is this about? This is investing in dividend stocks using stock options and dividend stocks. You look good and sound good on YouTube. Thanks, Mux. Good evening, sir. Good evening to you. Yay! Finally, yay. Okay, all right. Welcome, Paul. How you doing? Nice to see you again. Scriptbot, hello, hello, hello. What's on the news for today? Well, Nathan, just chill, hang out. Let's go over here to TikTok, see who's here this evening. Jordo, what's happening? Year of the Rabbit. Xavier, what's happening? Nak Mama. Okay, Daniel. Is it Daniel or Danielle? I can't see. John Smith, Apple user. Tony from Canada. Cop looking. Okay. Trader Opt 23. Sigma, what's going on? Thomas Bleakley. Mr. James, good evening. Jersey's in the house. Sigma, Nina, Tim, Sigma, what's going on? Sanjay, what's happening? Sigma, how's it going? Gail, good evening to you. Chrissy, Sigma, James, Brochu, okay. Mikey, going on? A long time I didn't see Procter & Gamble. Well, let's take a look at Procter & Gamble first thing after we look at Advanced Auto Parts. Well, it's already there. We might as well take a gander at it, right? Andrea, good evening. Cass, hi there. Thanks for bringing my attention to Intel this morning, or this month, a month ago. Okay. Cass, you're welcome. Christ Money Maker. Okay, good evening. And we're caught up. Josh, Villadi, okay. Toasted Toaster, the Silver Dude, what's happening? Dirt Farmer, back again, cool beans. Okay, next brainstorm. Yo, yeah. Okay, good evening, John. Yeah, Knox, good evening to you too. Well, let's get things started. First and foremost, my name is James. This is Dividend Stock Talk, brought to you by The 10-Minute Trader. I invest in dividend stocks for weekly cash flow. I'm looking for a simple, safe, predictable, consistent 1% per week. Least Finally, thanks so much. You're welcome. Now, you may be wondering, where did I get this trading strategy from? Well, about 15 years ago. Flash, how you doing? 15 years ago, my 9-year-old daughter, when she was 15 years ago, she's 26 now. But she's going to be 26. Anyway, she jumped on my lap and said, Daddy, can you teach me what you're doing? So here it is. Okay, I'm trying to figure out, how do you teach a 9-year-old how to trade stocks? Well, first and foremost, it's got to be simple. It's got to be safe, predictable, consistent, and no way that she could lose. So I had, you look like my professor. All right. Thank you, Leon. Simple, safe, predictable, consistent, no way for her to lose. I got to come up with 5 rules. Simple 5 rules. Number 1, never buy something you don't understand. Okay? All right. Number 2, never sell at a loss. Number 3, make sure the company's consistently profitable. That one escapes everybody. Almost everybody I talk to neglects to take into consideration the consistency of profitability. Well, if the company's making money this year, well, did they make more than they made last year and the year before and the year before? And is it going to consistently go higher and higher and higher and higher? Well, that's consistency of profitability. That means I want to make more this year than I made last year. And I want next year to be more than this year. So every year, higher, 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 higher. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay? Never buy something you don't understand. Never sell at a loss. Make sure the company is consistently profitable. Me, personally, I like 2 decades. That's 20 years. 4, weekly options only. When I say I want consistency, okay, predictability and consistency, I mean it's every single week. I'm looking for only 1% per week. 1%, is that too much to ask? I don't think so. So 1% a week does come to over 50% per year. If you don't think that's possible, you're in for a wake-up call, because it is. 1% a week is really not that difficult. And no, you do not have to sit in front of your computer all day long. Okay? 10, 15 minutes is all I'm asking. That's it. 10, 15 minutes every single day. You take a look at your account. Well, did I buy Advanced Auto Parts? Great. Where is it today? Where was it yesterday? Where does it look like it's going tomorrow? That's it. Simple questions. Remember, it was created for a 9-year-old. Now, I'm assuming, might be silly of me, but I am assuming everybody here is over the age of 18. So if that is so, it shouldn't be that difficult. Okay? So before I get started, it's not a lot of people here, but you know what? Let's check out the little princess so you can see for yourself. Need my glasses for this one. Sucks getting old, really does. All righty, right there. Okay, we're gonna first go to my social media sites because that's where YouTube is. There they all are. Instagram, Twitter, podcasts. Yeah, I don't do the podcast anymore because they freaking changed it. 900 episodes, and then they go and change it on me. Anyway, here we go. Okay, we're going to The 10-Minute Trader, okay, on YouTube. The 10-Minute Trader on YouTube. We're looking at, uh-oh. Why is only one of them working? Only one's working. Jacob, why is only one working? Sorry, give me a second. Offline. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Okay, so give me a second. Gotta figure this damn thing out. Stream. I'm having issues. Okay. What the hell were you thinking? Timmy, what's going on? Flash. Uh-oh. We got two right here. What do we have here? Christ Money, got that one. Josh, got that one. Validity, Toasted Toaster, Dirt Farmer, good evening. Good evening, Dirt Farmer. Flash, good evening to you. Timmy, Tim McCarty, hey, wants to take a look at Campbell's soup. We'll take a look at Campbell's. Right at this moment, I'm trying to figure out why it's not working. Stream. Okay. Restream. All right, I'm trying to paste my stream key. Ah, shit, it's not allowing me to copy it. Uh-oh, this is not good. All right, so let's try it one more time and see if we can get it to work. Come on. Fuck. All right, looks like we're not going to be streaming to YouTube tonight. Issues. English, that's right, stream, okay. Okay, get stream key. Okay, connect account, blah, blah, blah. What the hell is going on here? Okay, so what are we looking at? Okay. Definitely don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Okay. What? Okay, this is not good. Where the hell is my YouTube? All right, I'm not going to deal with this right now. We have to deal with it tomorrow. All right, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. Fuck it. All right, so anyway, let's get back to what we were doing because apparently this is not working. All right, so we're going to show you the princess who I created this for. Here she is right here.
Hi, I'm JC, and me, as you being part of my internet website called Thingy, which my dad didn't like me calling it that, but I do. Being part of that, you're going to be getting weekly lists of stocks that I'll be trading, and every month you'll be getting 4 lists of stocks that you can choose from that'll help you get the best return on your money.
Now that's definitely weird.
List number 1 is stocks that...
All right, there's me right there.
What does that mean? That means every single day you buy a different stock. Every single day there's a different company paying out dividends.
I laugh every time I see that thing.
By picking just one company per month. Just one.
All right. All right, stock lookup. There we go. There we go. All right, so let's go back to where we were. All right, so that was my daughter, 9 years old. She asked me, Daddy, how do you do what you're doing? Can you teach me? Simple, safe, predictable, consistent, all that kind of nice, neat stuff. So rule number 1, never buy something you don't understand. If you don't want to own it for the rest of your life, don't buy it. That's simple. If you don't know it, you don't understand it, and you don't want to own it for the long term, don't buy it. Simple. Know if they're profitable. Rule number 1, never buy something you don't understand. Rule number 2, never sell at a loss. It defeats the purpose. Rule number 3, consistency of profitability. We're going to be looking at that a little bit later on. Rule number 4, weekly options only. And rule number 5, make sure all the numbers work. And we're also going to look at that this evening. So I'm going to do some samples so you can ask any questions you want. When you're asking me about a stock, please make sure it has options. Please make sure it has dividends, okay? I would prefer weekly options. Now, if you're asking me, how do I know? Well, you shouldn't be buying a stock if you don't know about what it has available. All right. Oh, what do I think about Delta Airlines? We're going to take a look at that in a little bit. First and foremost, we got Advanced Auto Parts up on the board. Let's take a look at it. Let me answer these questions first. Kshagra, how are you today? Invest Riot, what's going on? He wants to look at 3M tonight. Cool beans. Antoine, get it right, Mr. James. Yeah, like I said before, if I understood how this software worked without my son helping me out, I wouldn't be needing all these cameras. Okay, so until I get it perfected, which we all know that I don't, I'll figure it out eventually. I bought Riot, it increased too fast, so should I increase the strike price? Well, Antoine, we're going to take a look at Riot. Okay, hold that thought. We'll take a look at Riot, Campbell Soup, Delta Airlines, and 3M. So that's 4 of them we're going to take a look at. I'm going to write those down because getting old, I have a tendency to forget things. 3M, Delta Airlines, Campbell's, CPB, Delta Airlines, blah, blah, blah. What was the third one? Those 4. Oh, Riot. There we go. 4. All right. We're going to take a look at those in a second. First of all, Advanced Auto Parts is right there. Let's take a look at it and let's see what's going on. Before I do that, let's change this to this one right there. There we go. That works. All right. So when I'm looking at a chart, I want to see 5 things. The high, the low, where was it a year ago, where is it now, and what direction is it moving? That's 5 things, okay? Down, sideways, up, down, now back up again. Well, currently it's at 38.59, right here, 38.59. It's the last traded price. So the closest strike price to 38.59 is going to be 38.50. So the 38.50 is going for 87 cents a share. Well, 87 cents a share is more than 1%. We're going to actually take a look at it if everything looks right. Okay, Mux Capital, you are doing fine. It's the message, not the delivery that matters. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So, advanced auto parts. Here we go. Alrighty. So the numbers work. Now let's take a look at the chart, see if that works. A year ago, we're at the high of the year, 87.50. All right, she drops. Last 90 days. Here we go. Here's the last 90 days. The high, the low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at the movement. Up, down, up, down, up. Now, same place. Still looks good. All right, so let's look at the last 30 days. Because the last 30 days gives us a good idea of where it might go by the end of the week. Now, I like doing most of my trades, almost all of my trades on Monday. And there's a reason for that. I like to stack the odds and probabilities in my favor. Let me explain. Now, considering most stock options, about 80%, that's 80% all expire worthless. So I don't want to be a buyer and be on the 20% side. No. I would prefer to be a seller and be on the 80% side. So listen to this. If stocks have a tendency to go up just before the dividend date, well, that's in my favor. If the stock is just coming off of a 30-day top, okay, a 30-day top, bouncing off of a 30-day bottom, now heading up, well, that's in my favor. Okay, so I have a good idea when the stock's going to move just before the dividend. I got a good idea of where the stock is right now and the motion it's going right now. Well, next, if I'm going to be a buyer, well, most options expire worthless. So I don't want to be on that 20% side. I want to be on the 80%. So that's on my side also. Okay, so what I'm looking for, she's in an upward trend. The dividend's coming up. Okay, everything's looking good. So I want to sell an option, not buy an option. Okay, so I'm going to buy the stock at the current price. Okay, and then I'm going to sell it to someone for basically as close as I possibly can to the exact same price. So if I'm going to buy it at $38.59, I'm going to sell it at $38.50. Well, I'm going to pick up 87 cents a share. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but let's just go through the motions, all right? Now, when I say I like doing most of my trades on a Monday, there's a reason for that. Monday, you have top 5 days of value. Because if I'm selling an option, I want to sell it. Then I want that option to go to zero or the stock to go up so somebody buys it from me. So I want my favor. All right? So, that being said, I forgot where I was going with that. Don't get old. Seriously, don't get old. Things just aren't the same. All right, anyway. Let's take a look at the seasonality chart. Now, if you don't know what a seasonality chart is, it gives you an idea of what the stock normally does this time of year. So seasonality is basically exactly what it sounds like. It has to do with the seasons, winter, spring, summer, fall. Well, we're in spring. Okay, wait a second. No, we're still in winter. Spring's not here until April 21st. Isn't that right? Okay, so we're still in winter. All right. So a seasonality chart starts January 1st all the way to the left, December 31st all the way to the right. The blue line down here, that represents the current movement this year. The red line is 10 years of movement. That's 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, so on and so forth. So we are right here, right about now. See, the first quarter, she dips. Well, first quarter is over right here, which is only about a week away, right? So what does it do next? Look at this. The beginning of the second quarter, a nice little move. So let's zoom in to find out exactly what, well, not exactly, roughly what we think it's going to do next. Okay, so here's the 24th right here. Okay, the little blue dot. That little blue dot right there represents today. So this is today right here. This blue line, little blue dot's today. This 10 years of debt. Look at that. You cannot argue with this. There's a tendency to go up. Okay, now I like that idea. So yeah, I do have some advanced auto parts and I want to take advantage of it. All right, anyway, let's go back to here. So far, I like the 1 year chart. I like the 90-day chart. I like the 30-day chart. I even like, wait a minute, 1 year, 90-day, 30-day, and the seasonality. So I like all those charts. Okay, here's the high, here's the low. Now she's going up nice and slowly. 38.90. Okay, so the 38.50. Let's do one. Okay, it's going to be a practice trade, and I'm going to actually record this one because I haven't recorded in a while. So let's see what we're looking at. All right, we're looking at the 30-day chart for AAP, Advanced Auto Parts. 30-day high was about 29 days ago. She drops down 2 weeks ago, hitting the bottom right here at 33. Now she's bouncing up and going up very slightly, nicely. All right, so great. What am I looking to do? Well, look at the seasonality chart again. Really quick, here it is. Seasonality chart just gives us an idea of where we think it's going to go in the next few weeks. Well, as you can see, it's definitely going towards the upside. Well, I like that idea. Now, let's put the odds and probabilities in our favor and do a covered call. Here we go. Let's get out of that. Back to normal. Get rid of this. Now I'm going to switch this from single option to the covered stock, which means I buy the stock, sell the option, collect the premium, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the 38.50, because the last trade was 38.59. So the 38.50 right here, just one contract. Change that number right there. See that? Right there. Change that one contract. And then I want to change this right here from limit order to a market order. Now, here's my reasoning. You might like doing limit orders, but I like a market order, and the reason being is because a market order is filled instantaneously. That means first thing tomorrow morning, as soon as the market opens at 9:30, I will have bought my shares and sold my options before 9:31. Fine. That gives me 4 days of time value. Well, today's Tuesday, so right, it's Monday night, so tomorrow morning is Tuesday, so we only have 4 days left, 4 days of time value. We just lost 20% of our possible profit. 20% of our possible profit just disappeared. Well, it didn't just disappear, you know, tick tock, the clock keeps ticking. So tomorrow, I could get 80% of the time value. Could it still be 1%? Yeah, it could be. Well, let's take a look. Advanced Auto Parts, here it is. Buy one covered call of AAP, which is Advanced Auto Parts. 100, which is the weeklies. 28 March 25, that means it's going to expire this Friday. So whoever buys this option, well, they got to either exercise their option or do something with it before 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon, or that option will expire worthless. All righty. The $38.50 call option against the AAP stock at the market to open to open. Why does it say that twice? To open? Because we're doing two trades. We're doing a stock trade and then we're doing an option trade. It's called a covered call. One of the safest and most predictable strategies there is. That's why I created the strategy for my daughter when she was 9. Simple, safe, predictable, all that stuff. Anyway, so here's my maximum profit, $83. Now, remember when I said consistent and predictable? Remember, simple, safe, predictable, and consistent? All right, predictable, I already know what I'm going to make on this trade, $84. Okay, consistent, well, it's a weekly optionable stock, which means I can trade it every single week. So 1% every single week, well, that works for me. That's over 52% a year, and that's not even the compounding. If you compound it, it's close to 74%. Well, that's freaking amazing. Matt! Mux Capital, doing fine, thank you. Matt! If a person only has $20, could they flip that money in the market? What is your thoughts? Okay. Now, Matt, I'm not 100% sure what you mean by a major profit. because I'm a literal person, okay, which means you actually need to give me context, okay, like in what context are we talking? You're saying a lot of money. Well, who are you comparing that to? If you're comparing it to Bill Gates, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, something like that, no, that's peanuts. Not even worth the lint in their pockets. But if you're talking to someone in Ethiopia that makes it $2 a month, yeah, that's a lot of money. So context, what are you talking about and what are you comparing it to? Okay, well, let's kind of get on the same page so that we can communicate better. Trying something a little bit different tonight. So let's see how it works. And why is it all these health drinks that are supposed to be good and healthy for you, why is it they don't taste that good? Anyway, I mixed three of them together, and I dumped some honey in there. So everything in it is good. It just tastes weird. All right, anyway. $84 is my maximum profit. What is it costing me to do this trade? The cost of trade, including commissions and fees, $3,700. Well, let's get the calculator. Calculator, here we go. All right, $84 is my profit. Okay, what is it costing me? So in order to figure out your rate of return, you take your profits, $84, and then you divide it by the investment, $3,766. Okay, does that work? All right, well, let's find out. Divided by 3,766 comes to a grand total of 2.2%. Well, that works. I'm going to write that one down. AAP 2.2%. Nice. Ooh. All right. Now, I already own Advanced Auto Parts, so it doesn't really make sense for me to buy some more. So I'm just going to ignore that one. I just wanted to show you how it actually worked and the numbers that went along with it. I got to reboot my computer. This is crazy. It's going slow. All right there. All right, so that's Advanced Auto Parts. Next on the list, thank you very much over here. So we are done with that video. There we go.
All right, we're looking at the 30-day chart for a...
Okay, Matt. Hold on. I gotta set the video up. Okay. Matt, like I want to make money in the market, but I don't have a lot of money to work with. Uh-oh, Zoom is not responding. Well, I'm not doing Zoom at the moment. And that's not responding either. Damn it. I don't have a lot of money to work with, so I'm asking is, could someone take a small amount of money and grow it to a decent profit? Yeah, Matt, you can. Which platform? The platform I'm using right here is called Think or Swim. Now, Matt, I'm going to suggest, I'm creating a new program specifically designed for my grandson. Now, my grandson's 5 years old. So how much money do you think he's got? Okay, so between me, the ex-wife, the in-laws, and then my son and my daughter-in-law, between everyone, we're going to take all our change, spare change. 7 cents here, 20 cents there, 57 cents there, and then between the six of us, I'm assuming somewhere around $3, $4, $5 a week. Well, he's 5 years old. So by the time he hits 18, well, that should transpire into a great amount. But we're going to use a strategy called a dividend capturing. Now, what I'm teaching here is not dividend capturing. It's a little bit different. I call this one dividend capturing 2.0. But dividend capturing is just a little bit different, and you can start out with a very small amount. $5, $10, $20 a week. And then eventually, depending on how old you are, okay, time and consistency and compound interest will help you out hugely. Matter of fact, I haven't done this in a while, so let's give it a try. Matt, let's try this. I haven't done this for a while, so let's check this out. Going to my website, right up here. Weekly compound interest calculator. Now, Matt, let me explain to you briefly what weekly compound interest calculator is and what it does. Now, usually people talk about rate of return, they're talking about an annual rate of return. That means every 365 days. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. Okay? So I'm looking at every 7 days. Because ever since they came out with weekly options, well, I can trade every 7 days. Now, here's an interesting thing. Let's go back to here for a second. All right, let's go back to here for a second. All right, let's get out of there. Let's get right to here. Okay, now, hold on. Yeah, my computer's really slow. Shit. Oh, yeah, this is really slow. All right, here we go. Oh, I gotta change that again. All righty, you ready? Matt, behind me is what is called a calendar. I know you know what that is, but this is called an EX dividend calendar. What it does, it specifically tells you when a stock is going to pay its dividend. Okay? Each one of these little green dots represents a company that consistently increases its dividends for 25 years or more. These are the only companies on here. So as long as they increase their dividends for more than 25 years consecutively, that means every single year higher and higher and higher. All right? So if I'm going to buy one of these stocks to collect the dividend, here's a key or clue, a strategic advantage. Stocks have a tendency to increase in price just before the dividend is paid. Let me show you briefly. Walmart. What's today's date? The 24th. Today's the 24th. Right here. Walmart has its dividend on the 21st. So if I want to collect the dividend, now this is called dividend capturing, okay? 2.0. No, dividend capturing. No, dividend capturing 2.0. Anyway, doesn't matter what it's called. If I want to capture the dividend here, let's click on this for a second. Okay, Walmart has a dividend of, why can't I see that? 23 cents. See it right there? Okay, so Walmart has a dividend of 23 cents. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot. Hear me out. Hold on a second. 23 cents is just the dividend. Okay? And it pays on the 21st. So I want to buy this stock 2 weeks before the EX date. See, the EX date's right here. That's represented by the little green dot. 2 weeks before is the week of the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Okay, 2 weeks before on a Monday. Okay, so I'm looking on the 3rd of March. So let's go take a look at the chart for Walmart, the 3rd of March. The opening price of the day. Now I haven't seen it, so it's not like I'm cherry picking. Just pick one. Let's go to charts. March 3rd. All right. Wally World, WMT. Wally World, 3rd of March. Ugh, horrible example. Really horrible example. All right, so right there. Okay, what was it? 23 cents. Is that right? 23 cents. Yeah, 23 cents. All right. All right. So the stock. Okay. 2 weeks before the EX date on a Monday, opened up at 97.98. Okay. The high of the day, 99.49. That is a $1.50 increase. Well, 23 cents is less than $1.50, whatever it is. So yeah, it did go up. Not exactly what I was looking for, but it is what it is. We can do the same with, let's find another one. Nordson, NDSN. Okay, 78 cents. NDSN. NDSN. Okay, the 3rd of March, right there. Okay, here's the 3rd right here. Now, we're looking to capture, was it 78 cents? So it opened up at 211.30. The high of the day was 212.13. Well, that is still above what we're looking for, the 78 cents. But a couple days later, she shoots up. So they do have a tendency to go up just before the EX date, 10 days before the EX date on a Monday. So if you put it this way, if you get an account at, let's say, Robinhood, Webull, Acorn, one of those companies, they will allow what is called fractional shares. So with my grandson, with me, the ex-wife, the in-laws, and my children, okay, all throwing in their change together. So let's say I get 27 cents today. All right, maybe tomorrow I don't spend any money, but let's say at the end of the week I get $5.23. All right, so I throw that into the little kitty. Well, let's say hypothetically my ex-wife comes up with $1.23. My in-laws, maybe $2 or $3, and maybe my son and my daughter-in-law, maybe they come up with $4 or $5. So between the 6 of us, let's say we come up with $7. All right, let's just say an average of $7, because he's only 5 years old. I mean, how much change can you actually create between 6 people on a weekly basis? So let's get out of here. All right, now you said you want to start out with $20. All right, so you're going to start with your initial deposit of $20. A periodic deposit, well, for my grandson, oh, let's do my grandson's example. He's starting out with $50. Papa G, that's me, started him out with $50. I could have been more, but, you know, it is what it is. All right, so periodically, let's say between the 6 of us, parents and grandparents, we come up with $7.23 a week, average. Okay? $7.23 a week. Now, I'm showing you how to get 1% a week. Okay, so 1% a week. Now, my grandson is 5 years old. So 5 years old, before I hand him the account at age 18, that's 13 years. So let's look at $7.23 every single week at 1% a week for 13 years for a 5-year-old. Okay, 13 years. Do I have everything? And a quarter, really? Okay, 13 years. Okay. So, do you see that number? That's freaking crazy. 644,000. 644,000. Starting out with $50 and at $7.23 a week. That's time, commitment, and consistency at 1% a week. So what I'm teaching here, simple, safe, predictable, consistent, you can play with this calculator anytime you want. There's a monthly compound interest calculator and a weekly compound interest calculator. When I first started, to be 100% honest, we did monthly. We did monthly interest because I didn't really understand the weeklies back 20 years ago. Okay. All right. What do I have here? Grandson won't have to work. You are great, Papa G. Yeah, Luigi, thank you for that. But guess what? Papa G's a dick. Do you know why? Because before I hand this over to my grandson, there's going to be a long list of stipulations. Okay? he gets involved with the wrong crowd, if he doesn't want, if he, you know what, it's going to be such a strict, and I'm a prick when it comes to rules. I was born in the, what do you call it, in the 60s, where we actually encouraged beating kids. You do something wrong, you get your ass whooped. Okay? Anyway. So yeah, there is going to be a lot of stringent rules before he can inherit this. Okay? All right, anyway, as a compound interest calculator, nobody actually had one, so I actually had to create it myself, and the math was kind of interesting. But anyway, let's go on to the next one. You guys don't need to see that anymore, and let's go back to, where were we? Right there. All right, let's go back to here. Let's go back to here. Let's get back onto the stock so we don't have to keep doing this kind of stuff. So anyway, to answer your questions, dividend capturing 2.0, where you buy the stock, even fractional shares. Okay, now you may not be able to buy one whole share. A fractional share is, you know, like you can buy 2.5 shares. You can buy 7.3 shares. So if you have like $5.13, well, yeah, you can buy $5.13 worth of Amazon, or $7.23 of Ford. Okay, you don't have to buy the whole share, and you get a portion of the profit. Or you can, what I was trying to say is, if I buy it at the opening price, 205.01, and then I add that dividend in, if the dividend's 78 cents, well, I want to get out at 205.79. Because that makes sense, because I'm just looking to catch the equivalent of the dividend. So if the dividend is 23 cents, I want to add 23 cents to the opening price, because I'm going to buy it at the opening price. I don't care what it opens at. Seriously, I don't care. And I'm not going to set that limit order looking to get a better fill. No, I want the opening price, whatever the opening price is. And then I want to add the upcoming dividend. So if the dividend is 23 cents, you take the 205.01, you add the 23 cents to it. Now it's 205.24 is my exit price. Okay, I'm just looking for a little tiny bit every single day or every single week. But here's the thing. If you have less than, I think it's $23,000, or is it $25,000? $25,000, you can't trade every single day. You can only do 3-day trades a week. So you got to follow the rules. They're a little picky, though. Anyway, let's get back to where we were. All right. Next on the list, 3M. 3M. I'm going to say no to 3M. Okay. Now, the reason why, all right, I'm not saying no to 3M. I'm saying no to 3M this week. Now, here's my reasoning. Okay. Your 30-day high, 30-day bottom. Look where it is. Way too close to the 30-day high for me. 24th, right here. So tomorrow's the 25th. Here we go. Here's 30 days. I don't know, maybe. Okay, she shoots up, pulls back, shoots up, pulls back. Now she's going back up again. 154 to 156. That's only $2. Now that is less than 1%. But look from here. 141 to 153. 141 to 150. That's a $12 increase. Well, $12 on a $142 stock is about 8 or 9%. Now, 8 or 9% could invite a lot of profit taking. So this thing could drop. So it's a little too close to the high for me. But I like 3M. So I'm going to put 3M down for 2 weeks from today. And we'll take a look at it in 2 weeks. Okay, next on the list, Delta Airlines, DAL. Ooh, that looks good. Now, when I say, ooh, that looks good, I'm looking for 5 things. And it should take you only 3 to 4 seconds to see all 5. Think about it. Can you see 5 things in 3 seconds? Sure you can. High, low, was, is, direction, up, down, up, down. Simple. Okay, don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. It's really not that difficult. So on a 1-year chart, I'm looking for, it's not at the high, it's not at the low. Okay? So 48.88 is the last trade. So the 49s go for 82 to 88. That is close to 2%. All right, well, that works for me. Just because the numbers work for me, is it the right time? Well, look at this right here. What's happening? Here's the high, drops down, has all that room to go back up. That looks awesome. Well, let's take a closer look. A year ago, Delta Airlines is at 45.25. The bottom of the year is right here, the beginning of August at 37.29. Okay, 37.29. So from there, look at the last 90 days. Now, the last 90 days would be December 24th. Okay, down, up, down, up. Can it really be that easy? I mean, think about it. Can it really be that easy? A 90-day high, 90-day bottom, now she's going up. Think about it. If you bought it over here, 67 bucks, or you bought it here and it jumped up to 67 bucks, and then you didn't take your profits, okay, or you did take your profits, now it's starting to come down. Well, here's the bottom here. Now, I'm sure you've heard it over and over and over again. The way you make money in the stock market, buy low, sell high. Buy low, as it's going up, sell high. Where do you want to jump out? Funny thing is, there's a couple of hundred people here tonight. And I can almost guarantee if we all bought here at the exact same low, maybe 2, 3, 4 will have the exact same exit price in mind. Me, I'm looking for 1%. So that baby goes up a little bit, I'm jumping. Why? Because I look at 300 stocks every week. And if I can get 1% every single week, that's over 50% a year. Now, you may think that's difficult to get, but no, not difficult at all. Matter of fact, I've been doing it for over 15 years. People keep asking me, how the hell do you do that? Can you verify that? Unfortunately, I can't verify it. I can't. The only thing I can do is show you my past trades. So I come up here, weekly trades for 2025. Okay, here's weekly trades for 2025. Okay, week number 1, December 30th to January 3rd. Here's all the trades right there. Look at that. This week right here, 6.19%. That's freaking crazy. Right here, 1.82. That's terrible. How the hell did I get 6 in this percent, 6% here, and only 1.8? All right, whatever. But I average over 1% every single week. But they're all posted up online. Okay, you just click on any one of these. And no, red is not bad. Red just means I sold. Red, I sold. Green, I bought. I bought, I sold. Not positive, negative. No. I sold, I bought. All right? So I'll give you an example. MPW. 5,000 shares at $3.88. Okay, $3. Now, if you don't have $3.88 per share to invest, I don't know what to tell you. But MPW, $3.88. So I bought 5,000 of them. Okay, now I bought them at $3.88. Okay, that's the price of the stock, $3.88. Says it right there, $3.88. And I sold the $4 option. Because at $3.88, the closest option is going to be 4. Okay, and I got 13 cents. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but 1% of $3.88 is 3 cents. And I got 13, which is over 4%. Just on this one trade, this one green trade, 4%. I'm only looking for one. This one gave me 4. Okay, but all my trades are there visible for you guys to see them. And you want to see something really freaking crazy? I'm talking really crazy. Okay, we're in week number 12. Okay, this is this is week number 12. Week number 13 is next week. No, wait a minute, this is week number 13. Yeah, March 24th to 28th. Well, last week, look at last week. Okay. 0.39. That's horrible. That's the worst week I've done so far this year. 0.39. Didn't make my 1%. But week 11, 2.3. Week 10, 4.1. Week 9, 4.3. Week 8, 2.3. Week 7, 1.49. Week 6, 3.01. Week 5, 3.88. Blah, 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 blah. You add it all up, and it comes to a grand total of, listen to this shit, 37.5% in 12 weeks. I'm going to have to double check that number. That looks freaking crazy. It does. Now, I haven't finished the calculations for account 2 and account 3. I'm hoping by this end of this weekend, I'll have it all done. So the first quarter will be done and over with. So next week, when the first week of the second quarter, we'll have all the numbers for all 3 accounts that I share publicly for you guys to take a look at. It's not my thing. I don't like doing, what do they call that? Dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Unfortunately, until I pay someone to do it with me, it's just me. Anyway, Delta Airlines, let's take a look. Okay, that's the 90-day. Let's jump into the 30-day. 30 days right there. Here's your 30-day high right there. Profit taking brings it all the way down to here. Not last week, but the week before. There's our bottom right there, 43. Okay? So it was at 64. Now it's at 43. She jumps up to 48. Now from 43 to 48 is $5. $5. Bottom to where we are now, $5. That's over 10%. That's a 10% increase from here to here. So don't be surprised if it's going to be profit taking. But look at all the space between here and the 30-day high. There's a lot of space that can go up. So yeah, I like Delta Airlines, but what does it normally do? Well, for that, we need the seasonality chart. Now that looks pretty interesting. Take a look. That's where we are right now, the little blue dot. Look at this. That little pit right there. Then she's going to jump up and then go sideways. Well, that could be a good thing. Now, this is not guaranteed. Okay? You got to realize that. This is not guaranteed. Just gives us an idea of what did it do over the last 10 years in this time period. Well, this time period is week number 12, week number 13 of the quarter. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers. Does this look like a good trade or doesn't it? All right, let's get out here, and we want to look at the 49, so we're going to change this to covered call right there. Look at the 49 right there. And just one contract. I don't want to overwhelm you with more than one, because the numbers do get large on some of these stocks. Okay, here it is. By one covered call, a DAL, Delta Airlines, 100, that's the weekly. 28 March 25, that is next Friday. Okay? No, wait a minute. 28, 25, that's this Friday. That's 4 days away. Okay, the $49 call option against DAL stock at the market to open. 2 orders. One order, 2 trades. Buying stock, selling the option. 2 trades. Maximum profit, 91. It's going to cost me $4,800. Let's take a look at the calculator. Clear that. $91 divided by 4,800. 4,809. 1.89 for 4 days. 1.89 for 4 days. Well, 1.89, that's probably close to 80-90% for the year. Let's find out. If I can get 1.89 every single week, multiplied by 52, because it's 52 weeks in a year, 98%. I could deal with 98% return. I don't know about you guys, but am I going to get 1.8% every single week? No. I average 1.2. Last year I averaged 1.2% every week. That was over 63%. I can't tell people I made 63% last year. And I definitely can't tell them I made 30% so far in the first quarter. They'll think I'm nuts. So I told an investor friend of mine I made 13% this quarter. She says, wow, that's awesome. Couldn't tell her I made over 30%. She'd think I'm crazy. A lot of people think I'm crazy. But you know what? It is what it is. It either makes sense or it doesn't make sense. So that's Delta Airlines. Campbell Soup, CPB. CPB. Here we go. Interesting. Not tickled fancy because look at this right here. It looks like she's dropping. So let's zoom into that before we do anything else. Because what I'm looking for is the high, low, was, is, and when the motion is. Look at this. See, here's the high. Now she's coming down. Okay, we got the bottom right there. Last Thursday, Friday was higher, and today looks like it's almost the exact same as Friday. Well, let's take a good look at it. Okay, so Thursday the bottom was 37.75. Friday the bottom was 37.86, and today the bottom was 37.83. Okay. So the high Friday was 38.47, 38.48. So there's a higher high and a lower low today. Now, that's weird. So it's basically just going sideways. All right, so I would like 2 days to the upside. Well, we don't have it yet because these two are about the exact same. The 30-day bottom was on Thursday. Okay, so I'd like tomorrow to be higher. And then it might be good to get in on Wednesday if you like Campbell Soup or Campbell's, the Campbell's Company. Okay. Next on the list, Riot. I do like Riot, and I did buy some Riot this morning because the numbers were just freaking crazy. Ooh, look at that. Okay. Simple. It takes 3 seconds. High, low, was, is, the direction, okay, down, up, down, and now she's going up. This is what I want to pay the most attention to, this area right here. Because this was a year ago. This was 6 months ago. This was 3 months ago. This, a couple of weeks ago. Okay, but that's the 1 year chart. It gives me a couple of seconds. Only takes a couple of seconds. High, low, where was it, where is it, what direction is it going? It's not that difficult. It's not rocket science. Okay? It's currently at $8.59. The $8.50 is going for 40 cents. Well, yeah, that's over 4%. Well, let's take a look. I like it. Now, I did buy some Riot this morning because it looked pretty good this morning. So I forget how much I bought, but I bought a bunch. A year ago, 12.12. Okay, down, up, down. And the bottom's right there. The first week of September, it's $6.31. Okay, now, do you remember the part where I say, never buy a stock you don't understand? Well, part of understanding means you should know where the high of the year is and where the low of the year is. And if you are not ready for a 50 to 60% drop off from the high to the low, well, look at the high, $16. Look at the low, $6. That is more than a 50% movement. Okay? Yeah, so get used to it. If you're not comfortable with buying some, so here's the thing. A lot of people neglect this one point. Let me see if I can explain it in a manner that it makes sense. Let's say, hypothetically, Riot is paying a 20-cent dividend. Just, random 20-cent dividend. Okay, so if I bought Riot at $12 a year ago, what dividend am I collecting? I'm collecting 20 cents. Okay. If I bought it at the low, $6, $6.31, I'm collecting the exact same dividend. What if I bought it up here at 16? Do I get a different dividend? No, you get the exact same dividend. So think of it as a cash flow machine. Doesn't really matter where you get in. The cash flow, the dividend, and it increases every year. is going to be the same. 20 cents a share. If I bought it at 16, 20 cents a share. If I bought it at 12, 20 cents a share. If I bought it at 6, 20 cents a share. It doesn't change. Okay, that's your cash flow. That's what people normally go after. Now, we here do it a little bit differently. Okay, I buy it at the current price. I sell to someone at the exact same price I just paid for it, and I collect a nice big fat premium. And if it gets taken away from me, fine, I made my money. If it doesn't get taken away from me, well, I'll just roll it into the next week and do it again. Because once I buy the stock, I can do whatever I want with it. If I buy it at 872, and I sell it to someone at 9, I'm picking up 16 cents a share, 16 to 19. Okay, which is not that bad. It's a little under 2%. But if the stock goes up, I get all my money back and I still get to collect the premium, because that's totally separate. So I collect the premium, sell the stock at 9, and I get a difference between the 40 cents and the 9, which is another 40 cents. Sorry, the 9 in the purchase price. So it's a win-win-win scenario. So number one, does it make sense? Buy a stock that you like. That's the big one. The big one. The number one, never buy something you don't understand. If you don't like it, don't buy it. It's that simple. If you don't understand it, don't buy it. It's that simple. Okay, so if I'm buying a stock that I like, Riot, if she drops 50%, I don't really care. I'm still collecting the dividend every 90 days. But I'm also collecting a weekly premium now it is a not only a mathematical equation on where I sell the options, it's a gut feeling, or it's a comfort level. See, if I bought it at 15, okay, and now it's only worth 8, well, I can't sell the 15s because they're not worth anything. I can't sell the 14s because they're not worth anything. As a matter of fact, I can come all the way down to 1050, which is way down to here, before it actually has some value. See? So here, I'd probably sell either the 950s or the 10s. Okay? The 950s or the 10s. The 1050s is not enough money for me. So it always comes down to a balance. What's too close so that I might lose, and what's too far away where it's not worth it? It's a balance. You got to figure it out. All right, so let's take a look. Riot. A year ago, 12.15, we bottomed out in September, first week of September, 6.43. We topped out just below 16 the beginning of November. Okay, last 90 days. Okay, same thing. Okay, the high, low, where was it? Where is it? Look at the movement. Down, up, down, up. So I like that. The 90-day top, 90-day bottom. Now she's moving up. It makes sense. Well, let's squeeze into the 30-day, because 30-day gives me a good idea, a better idea of where do I think it's going to be in the next 3 to 5 days. Remember, I want to get out on Friday and have all my money back on Monday. If not, well, I'll just sell it again on Monday. 30 days ago, here's the high. Here's your bottom right here 2 weeks ago. Went sideways for a week, now she's going up. Well, that's a good time to jump in. But what does it normally do? Normally, seasonality, here we go. No real rhyme or reason here. Okay, so she might dip a little bit and then shoot up and then dip again. Okay, now, does that really bother you? Let's look a little bit further out. Yeah, I definitely want to get out within 1 week. Okay, shoots up and then she comes down and she goes back up again. Yeah, that's one where I take a better look at, do I really like this and I really want to own it? Well, I already own some, so it's besides the point for me. But if you guys are out there looking at it, never blindly trust someone on YouTube or TikTok. Do your own research. Take a good look. All right, those are the 4 stocks you guys want me to take a look at. What do you do when the called stock drops before expiration? I think I just covered that one, Flash. Okay, number one, never buy something unless you're okay with the possibility of it going down. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, I buy it at 872. Now I sell somebody the option to buy it from me at 9. Okay, that's the closest one, and I pick up almost 2%. All right, that's nice. Now, what if she drops down to 8 or 750? Well, instead of selling the 9s, I'll sell the 850 or the 8s. Whatever is closest to give me a good return, but not too close where might be in jeopardy of being called away at a lower price. Okay, so my number one objective is consistency of profitability. That's my number one objective. Number two, safety. Okay, I'm 61 years old. I have no desire to go back to work. None. Okay, I just want to live my life, be left alone, and just enjoy my children and my grandchildren. Just do a lot of nothing. Scott DeJong, what's happening? Good evening to you. Call it. I have no idea what call it means. All right, so, hey, Melatonin, how are you today? Coach Karush, how are you today? John Smith, MDA on the TMX. MDA on the TMX. Well, John, I'm not 100% sure what MDA on the TMX means. MDA. Well, McDonald, DeWittle Associates, NC, blah, blah, blah. Nothing's popping up, so we're going to say no to MDA. TMX has no options, so we're going to say no to that. Sorry, John. Sean Miller, how are you today? Chan Martin, just learned about dividends. Any words of wisdom for a newbie? Okay, Chan, keep on coming back. Okay, the education is free. I'm not charging anything. And no, you will not see a pitch at the end of the show. You're not even going to see a pitch anywhere in the show. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. You're all adults here. You know I have stuff for sale. If you want to buy it, go into the bio, wherever it is. Okay? Now, I'm broadcasting on 6 channels because that computer's not working at the moment. So only, 5 channels tonight. Okay. So 5 channels tonight. So I'm not going to try to sell you anything. So my suggestion, if you're new, keep coming back and take notes. If there's something you don't understand, make a note of it and then ask a question. I answer each and every individual question, every single one of them. But it might take me a time to do it, so it takes time. Wyckoff, I can't read that, dude, sorry. Staying off the grid. Always nice to have haters in the group. Thank you. I'm going to take that all as a compliment. Like a website or something. Okay. Question, is there a way to see someone's past trades in the markets? Matt, I just showed you my past trades. Vincent. Hey, James. What do you normally do when your option is about to be called away under the purchase price? Buy back or take a loss? No. I never take losses. If I can avoid it, I won't take a loss. Now, we are in the 13th week of the year, almost 90 days. Okay? I have 0 losses so far this year. 0. And I have 7 accounts. That's a lot of accounts to have 0 losses. Buy and hold stocks. What do I think of Pepsi Cola? Silver Exchange. How are you today? Pepsi. Let's take a gander at Pepsi. Well, here you go. Here's the high. Here's the low. Here's where it was. Here's where it is. Look at the movement. Up, down, up, down, up, down. It's coming down at the moment, so it doesn't really look that favorable. No sense even looking at the numbers, especially when she's coming down. Now, look. This is today. Yesterday, or Friday, was the 30-day bottom. Today's one day to the upside. Okay, that could be a possibility if you like Pepsi. Well, let's take a look at the numbers. Well, currently it's at 146.65. So the 147's 71 to 1. I don't know. We could all say at the exact same time. That's a no. No, it's not giving me 1%. Now, I like Pepsi. Normally, it never gives over 1%. Normally. But every once in a while it will. So it's not bad to take a look at. So I'm going to say no to Pepsi. Sorry. FedEx. I like FedEx. FDX. Ooh, we looked at this yesterday. When I say yesterday, I mean Friday. The high, the low, where was it? Where is it? Look at the movement. Down, big jump up, back down, back up, big jump down, big move here. Now, we saw this the other day. We took a look at it and said, wait a second, I got a feeling that thing's going to fill. Okay? Friday, big drop. What happened today? Gapped up and kept going up. Okay, we missed that one. But there is a possibility 30 days ago, here's the bottom right here. Gapped up, this thing probably going to keep on going. Probably. Okay, what does FedEx usually do this time of year? Well, you can't really argue with that. Look at where we are right now. See, the blue dot represents today. Got a big jump coming up. That's 10 years worth of data. 10 years, it's done this. Now, that is not a recommendation. That is not a tip. That's just an observation. Okay? Chan Martin, thank you. Hudson Miller, thank you for that. Joan Vist, thank you for that. Flash wants to take a look at Nucor. Nucor, I love Nucor. N-U-E. All right, hold on a second. Oh, wait a minute, we're still on FedEx. All right, so FedEx looks interesting. Okay, 242.50. There it is right there, 242.50. All right, 265. Interesting. Okay, there we go. The 242.50 right there. Okay, one contract right there at the market right there, and confirm and send. Here we go. Buy one covered call of FedEx. 28 March. Well, that's this coming Friday. The 242.50 call option against FedEx at the market to open. To open, that's 2 trades in one. $340 is the maximum profit on this trade. Remember, simple covered calls, one of the simplest strategies there is. Buying a stock, I'm selling it for basically the same price I just paid for it. Safe? Well, it's one of the safest trading strategies there is. Okay, predictable? I already know what I'm going to make. Consistent? If I don't hit my target this week, I can do it again next week. If I don't hit my target next week, I can do it the week after. If I don't hit my target then, I can keep collecting this every single week. So if I don't hit my target this week, I can sell it again next week at the 242.50 and pick up another premium. If I don't hit my target, I can sell it again and pick up another premium. I will keep selling it until I hit my target. That's it. Okay? So let's check out the rate of return on this one. The way to do that, you take the profit, $340, and you divide it by the investment, $23,910. Okay, $23,910. Now, it may sound like a lot of money, but think of it this way. When you become retired, more than likely, you're going to have 6, maybe 7 digits in your account. Well, that's what you should, hypothetically, after working 30, 40, 50 years of your life. All right, so this is 1.4%. Do you like FedEx? That's the big question. The first question is, does it make sense? Buying a stock, a good stock, that consistently profitable and consistently shares its profits, buy it at the current price and then sell it at almost the exact same price. So I'm buying it at $242.50, and then I'm selling it at $242.50. Well, what am I making? I'm making this right here, $340. Okay, if it hits my target over $242.50 by Friday, well, I get all my money back plus that. Okay, if I don't sell it by Friday, well, I get to keep this money, and then I get to sell it the exact same thing again next week and pick up another premium. Well, that's why I want to do it. I want to collect a premium every single week, because 1% every week is over 50% a year. And I don't know when the last time you guys got 50% a year consistently. Okay? All right. We already did Riot. New Jersey, already did Riot. Nucor is next. All right, let's get out of here. Get out of here. Get rid of that. Go back to here and slide this right there and right there. And you eat. I actually looked at Nucor this morning. Interesting. The high, the low. Where was it? Where is it? Up, down, up, down, up, down. All right, well, that's where we are right now. What is going on right here? Now, I can't really tell because it's so congested. So before I move on, I want to check the numbers. 127.40. Now, that's not a good thing. Okay, now, every once in a while, you get little clues. All right, here's a clue right here. The last trade, 127.40. That's the last trade today at whatever time it was, before 4 o'clock. 127.40. Tomorrow, the bid, 125.69. Well, that's lower. But look at the ask, 126.75. That's lower also. So when both the bid and the ask are lower than the last traded price today, that means the market maker looks to push the price down. So that doesn't give me a warm fuzzy at all. A year ago, 195.48. Top of the year, 203. And that was the beginning of April of last year. Well, look at the last 90 days. Right there, 24. Okay. Down, up, down, up. Okay, what's going on right there? I want to zoom in a little closer and get a better idea. Okay, last 30 days. Here we go. 30 days ago at 136, jumps up to 140, drops. 30-day bottom was yesterday. Now, when I say yesterday, we all know that means Friday. Well, because today's Monday. On the chart, it doesn't distinguish between Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday, Sunday. No, it doesn't distinguish that at all. It's just one day after another. Okay, so today, right here, yesterday, right there, here's the bottom right there, and she shot up after a gap down. It filled the gap. Gaps have a tendency to fill. Well, this one got filled today. Could that be the bottom? It could be. I like 2 days the upside. So I would not jump into this yet, even though it looks appetizing. It looks good. But is tomorrow going to be a second day to the upside? It's either yes or no. Well, we're not going to know until tomorrow. All righty. Let's go back here. All right, Robin Jones, good evening, and how are you today? Can you explain what you do on Friday when the stock you bought at the beginning of the week? Well, Robin, that is a little challenging to explain. Okay, now let me give you a quote, famous quote. You may know it, you may not know it. Okay, are you ready? Here it comes. We cannot answer the questions of tomorrow with the knowledge we possess today. I didn't get the accent right at all, but I can't tell you what we do on Friday, well, today being Monday night? Well, because I know a few things, but there are a lot of things I don't know. Okay, now I do know what stock I bought and what price I bought it at. Well, that I do know. Okay, I also know what options I sold against the stocks this morning, because I did all my trading this morning, so I basically have no money left. I always find that humorous when I tell it to people. All my money is gone Monday morning. But what do I have? Well, I have a nice little chunk of change from the premiums I collected this morning. Now, I was racking up the premiums this morning saying, yeah, I made my 1% this week. Fine. But what I do know, I know what I bought this morning. I know what I paid for this morning. And then I know what I sold against them. But what I don't know, what's happening Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, Friday, I remember saying, okay, I trade, all right, I'm on my computer looking at my stocks twice a day. Now, I broadcast live twice a day, 9 a.m., but that is a paid group that you actually get to see what I'm trading as I am doing it. And then you can ask me any questions you want, and it's live, and it's interactive. Okay, and then at night, here again. Okay, I am here showing you what I am doing, so twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. That I know. But what I don't know is what's happening Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, we can guess. Okay, so if I bought something on Monday, well, Tuesday I want to see what it's doing. Wednesday I want to see what it's doing. I want to see what it's doing every day. Okay, so if I bought Nucor, okay, first thing this morning, let's say at 127. Well, that I know. If I sell the option at 127, I can pick up 220. Well, that's over 1%. Great, I know that. So let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not a whole heck of a lot's happening. And then Friday afternoon, well, what's the stock at? Is it higher or lower than what I paid for it? Is the option I sold, is it in the money or is it out of the money? Is it going to expire? Or is whoever bought that option from me, are they going to take my shares away? Or is it going to expire worthless and then do I get to do it again on Monday? I can't answer these questions on a Monday night because I can only answer the questions of Friday afternoon. Okay? Can't answer the questions of tomorrow with the information we possess today. Now, the information we possess today, well, I know what that information is. I just don't know what Tuesday information is, Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. I have no idea what that's going to be. So tomorrow I will look at all my positions again, and I'll make that quick calculations. All right, I bought Nucor at 127.40. Great, I know that. Tuesday, all right, so it's up a little bit. All right, now it's at 128. Okay, Wednesday, ooh, it pulled back a little bit to 126. Okay, I got to compare Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to Monday. Because Monday, I already know. I already did it. I already own it. I already sold options against it. Tuesday, no idea. Wednesday, no idea. Thursday, no idea. Friday, no idea. But I do have to make a decision on Friday. That's the best I can give you. I cannot answer the questions of tomorrow with the knowledge I possess today. Jeff Jerzik, how are you today? Coach Karash, Farazad, how are you today? Can we also look at Macy's? Ooh, I like Macy's. Macy's was my number one, stock pick for last year. Okay. Oh, blah, even. Now, see, when I tell people Macy's was my number one stock for last year, look at the drop. And then I tell them I made over 40% on Macy's. Well, they take a look at me as if I have two heads. Well, what do you mean? It was at 21 last year, and now it's at 13. How could you possibly make 45% on it? Well, because I know something that they don't. And I did trades that they didn't. Okay, I'm assuming that's why you're here. You're looking to learn something that nobody else knows or nobody else does. Because as far as I know, I don't really know very many people that do this or even thought of it. Now, I know people that do it on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, but not very many people. I don't know anybody that does it on a weekly basis. All right, so Macy's. Here we go, Macy's. The high of the year was last year, 2073. All right, so she went sideways for a little bit, dropped, went sideways for a little bit, dropped. 90 days ago, same thing. High, low, where was it? Where is it? And what it's doing? Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, simple. Okay, it looks like it should be going up. Should be. Let's get in a little closer. 30 days. Here we go. Interesting. Check it out. 30-day high, 30-day bottom. She shoots up, pulls back, shoots up, pulls back. Now she's going back up again. Look at all the space between here and the 30-day high. It's a lot of space. It could work, okay? But you got to ask yourself a whole bunch of questions. Question number one is always, does it make sense? Do you understand it? Do you need some more clarification? Do you understand it? Does it make sense? That's number one. Number two, do I like this particular stock? Whatever stock we're talking about at this moment, it's Macy's. Do I like Macy's? I do. I actually own some Macy's. It was one of my number one performers. Actually, it was number two performer last year. I think Walgreens. Funny thing is, Walgreens was my number one performing stock last year. I'm going to show you Walgreens next, and you're going to think to yourself, how the hell could that be with number one stock? It is. I made 45% on Macy's. That's a nice return. Okay, but I made a little bit more on Walgreens. Anyway, here's where we are. So let's take a look. Let's get an idea of what does she normally do. Yeah, here we are, right about there. Okay, so it looks like she's going to dip a little bit. It's kind of messy right about here. Come down and then go back, but not really retrace. So it doesn't really look that great at this moment. Even the current position, even this doesn't look that great. Here's the high, here's the low. And she's just basically going sideways, staying between 13 and 14, just going sideways. I mean, it's not that bad of a trade as long as you stay within that area. I mean, how long can you trade that? Okay. Jersey. Hi, Rizzo. How are you today? Dirt Farmer. I'm 66. I forget everything too. Well, Dirt Farmer, that's why I write shit down. I do. I don't trust computers, number one. And number two, I've hit the wrong button plenty of times and it erases everything. Yeah, so if it's important, I write it down. Because worst case scenario, I would rather spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours going through books saying, I know I wrote it down, I know I wrote it down, I know I wrote it down, rather than trying to figure out where the hell it is in a computer. Because once you hit delete in a computer and you actually empty the trash bin, yeah, you can't find anything. Karakarum, I don't know if am I pronouncing that right? Karakarum. I don't know. How you doing? That is definitely some weird shit. All right. Oh, Ravel. Ravel, how are you today? What is your view, Nike, in the big time frame? Okay, now my idea of the big time frame and your idea of big time frame is probably different. Lewis Black has a good joke about Coke and Pepsi. I like you, Lewis Black. He's funny. What are we looking at now? We did Macy's. Nike. Okay. NKE. Nike. Here we go. Ooh, yeah, we looked at this the other day, and we also talked about that gap right there. Because I remember this big, huge gap right here was just about the Olympics. Do you guys remember the Olympics? It's like, it wasn't a really big deal this year. Can you imagine that? Training all your life just to get your chance to be the best in the world at something, and nobody pays attention to it? I stopped paying attention to the Olympics a long time ago because it kind of lost that sportsmanship when everybody's after the money. Money has a tendency to ruin everybody. Anyway, don't get me started. Yeah, here I am talking about money. Yeah, kind of an oxymoronish. Your favorite Walmart? No. Walmart is not my favorite. I think I may have traded Walmart twice last year. Doesn't come into favorite, only doing it twice. All right, Nike. Back over this side. The high, the low, where was it? Where is it? Look at this. Sideways, big, huge drop, back up, back down, back up, back down, and another drop right here. Okay, I want to get a closer look at this because if this is the bottom here, I want to keep my eye on that. A year ago, 93.27. The high of the year was the end of June, 98.21. Well, it didn't take very long to go from 94, big gap down from 94 to 75. That's a $20 drop. Okay, down, up, blah, blah, blah. Last 90 days, which is the last 3 months. Here we go. High, low, is. Look at this. Down, up, down. Now she's going back up again. Now, with a gap like this right here, that is going to fill. But what's the time frame that's going to fill? Could it be a day, a week, a month? I don't know. Let's take a little closer look. Okay, here's your 30 days. 30 days ago, we're at 80. Jump up to 82, drop down here to 72 before she gaps down, hit 60. Is that 66? Oh, yeah, 66. And today, she's up. Well, today's a red day, so, but it is higher. Higher high and a higher low. So it's definitely an up day. All right, fine. So does that mean we should jump in? Well, I like 2 days to the upside. Because 2 days to the upside gives me a sense of security that it is the actual bottom. Because tomorrow, she could pull back a little bit lower. So I like 2 days to the upside. So I am going to keep my eye on Nike. All right, and I want to take a look. So I'm thinking maybe Wednesday could be the earliest I would jump into that. But that's me. All righty. Rizzo, thank you for that. Coach Karosh, thank you. Thank you, Coach. Hey, JB, you don't think I'm going to do it the other way, do you? Cool K, what's happening? Half Crunch. Ashok Kumar. Oh, he wants to take a look at Visa. Oh, Brian, how are you doing this evening? You want me to take a look at Grab? Let me take Visa first. Visa, Las Vegas. Okay, here we go. Here's the high, here's the low, here's where it was, here's where it is. Look at this. Down, up, down, up. Well, that looks nice right there. 346, the 347s. No, that's not even 0.5%. Hell no. Sorry. Now, Visa, very rarely do I ever do Visa because the numbers really don't look that good. So, sorry, Ashok. The numbers don't look good for Visa. So, Brian, Grab. Now, I don't think Grab has 20 years of dividends, Brian. As a matter of fact, let's check it out. GRAB. Now, this is the first time we open this up, so let's take a gander. Now, if you guys don't have one, you should find a financial website and learn how to navigate through it. Because if you are seriously going to invest your own money, now let's not kid ourselves. You have 2 options and only 2 options. Now, don't think you're special and you have 3 or 4. No, you don't. You only have 2. Okay? You're either going to take responsibility and invest your own money, learn a little bit, enhance your education, or you're going to give it to somebody else and they're going to do it for you. And trust me, 99.9% of the people do not have your best interest in mind when it comes to investing. They're very few and far between people. Okay? All right, so Yahoo Finance, Grab Holdings. All right, we're going to say no. Brian, no to Grab Holdings. Because right here, look at this. Forward dividend and yield. EX dividend date. Nothing, which means Grab has no dividends. So, Brian, let me ask you a quick question. Okay, the name of the show here is Dividend Investing for Cash Flow. Okay, dividend stock talk. Why are we looking at a stock that has no dividends, Brian? Okay, now I don't want to insult you in any way, shape, or form. That's not what I like to do. But please, if you come to a dividend investing channel or show or whatever you want to call it, okay, and you're asking about a stock that has no dividends, I'm going to say no. Which stock is that? I just tuned in. That is Grab, G-R-A-B. Hey, Flipper McGee, what's happening? James, a good feed of raw oysters really did miracles for memory loss. Okay, tell you what, I'm heading up to Maine probably the second or third week in April, which is a couple weeks away. I don't know. See if we can arrange some oysters. That'd be great. I'm not sure if my buddies like it because I don't know how many guys are going up there. How much of your portfolio do you risk per trade? All right, Alex. Ideally, okay, it doesn't always work out that way. Okay, but last year, okay, when the market wasn't crazy like it is this quarter, okay, I had 98% of all my money invested at all times. Okay, didn't get any margin calls at all. This year, yeah, I'm down to about 85%, 90% invested at all times. Yeah, and I got 2 margin calls. Okay, when the stocks drop to a point where you need to throw in more cash, yeah, that happened to me twice this year. Didn't happen to me at all last year. Yeah, but this year, it's a little fickle, because I don't want to do politics. I don't, seriously. But the powers that be are pitting us against each other. Okay, the whites against the blacks, blacks against the Chinese, Chinese against the Mexicans, Mexicans against everybody, whatever. Okay, Democrats against Republicans. And it seems as nobody wants to admit that the water is wet, the sky is blue, dirt is dirty, sun rises in the east, it sets in the west. No, they all want to listen to the BS that they listen to on TV. And don't get me started on politics. Anyway. All right. Okay. So most of my money is invested at all times, Alex. Jimmy Dean, what's happening? Steve, hey, James. If you place your trade the night before and the stock gaps up, how does that affect? Ooh. Well, now, Steve, I'm not going to admit that it's never happened. Because, yeah, it happened to me a couple of times. But I got the favorable part of that. Sometimes it doesn't always work that way. It's part of playing the game. Okay, if you dance to the music, eventually you're going to have to pay the fiddler. Okay, there's no other way around it. You cannot, and I don't know anyone, unless your name is Pelosi, who wins every single trade. And we all know why she does that. Tom Riddle. Never listen to a broke person about money. I'm gonna agree with you 100%, Tom. Don't listen to a broke person about money. That's like never listen to a single woman about relationships. Trey Guy, what's happening? Mara, huh? Scott King, good evening. Louis Sparks, good evening. Edward Pa. All right, good evening. All right, let's take a look at Mara. Trey Guy wants to take a look at Mara. Now, I do own some Mara, just to let you know. Mara, M-A-R-A, la 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 la. Okay, here we go. Here's the high, here's the low, here's where it was, here's where it is. Look, it's down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, 1429. Okay, so I got a choice. The 14s, 86, hell yeah. The 1450s, 55. Yeah, again, even the 15s, 34, and the 1550s, 18. 81 of those are going to give you over 1%. Okay, but what is the chart telling me? All right, a year ago at 22, the high's at 30, the bottom's at 12. All right, well, let's zoom in a little closer. Last 90 days, right there, just before Christmas, last 90 days, right there. There we go. All right, here's 90 days ago. Okay, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so now she's going up. But how far is she going to go up? We don't know. Today was a big day. With a big day like today, usually there's going to be profit taken on today's movement. So let's zoom in a little closer. Yeah, see, 30 days ago we're at 1450. We dropped down to 12, shoot up to 16, drop back down to 12, shoot up to 13, drop down to 12, shoot up to 13, drop down to 12, gaps up and shoots up to 14. Okay, so from 12 to 14 is $2. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but $2 on a $12 stock is over close to 20%. Close, but not, close, like 17, 18, 19, somewhere in that area. But look at the size of that move. It gapped up and that big move. So more than likely, there probably may be some profit taking tomorrow with a jump that big. Maybe. But I do already own Mara, so I don't have the option of jumping out. But all right, so let's take a look. 1460. All right, hold it. Hold the phone. Okay, remember I showed it to you earlier? I don't know how many people caught this, but let's take a look. The last traded price, 1461. The bid, 1427, which is lower. Okay, 1429, also lower. So it looks like the market maker is going to push it down. Now, Sweetie Pie, I appreciate that you want to co-host with me, but I don't know you, so I'm going to pass. Sorry. All right, so let's keep on keeping on. So it looks like the market maker is going to push it down by the bid and the ask being low, both of them being lower than the last traded price. Sometimes he tips his hand and shows you what he's going to do tomorrow. Sometimes. Kellen, good evening. It's me, Amanda. How are you today, Amanda? It's me, James. All right, anyway. Bradley Dufresne, I bought 100,000 of BlackRock today. Why? Seriously, why? Isn't it BLK? Is BLK or BX? BX, Blackstone. BLK, BlackRock. Okay, so BlackRock. $963 per share. Okay, Bradley. Now, I'm not going to, tell you how to spend your money, but I want to show you something, Bradley. BLK. Let's take a look at historical data and see how often BlackRock increases its dividends. Okay? Right here, historical prices. I want to click on that, and then I want to take a look at just the dividends. Dividends only. Come on. Dividends only. There we go. Computer's a little slow today. I got to reboot this. Okay, and then I want to do all the dividends that it has available. Okay, so here we go. I want to go back to 2005, because 2005 would be 2 decades, right? 2 decades, that's 20 years. All right, so 2005, 30 cents, 42, 67, 78. Okay, 2008, it's 78. 2009, it's 78. So it's 2 years. Didn't increase at all. Not that good. Okay, 78, a buck 38, a buck 50, a buck 68, a buck 93, 218, 229, 250, 288, 313, 330, 363, 413, 488, 510, 521. Well, no, that's nice. That's 20 years of increased dividends. Okay, that actually looks good. All right, so let's take a look at the summary. Summary will give me an idea of what the rate of return BlackRock is actually paying. Okay, so $951 per share. Look at the yield. 2.16. So the dividend is 20 bucks, close to 21 bucks, but it's only 2.1%. I don't know. But 2.1% is not that good. Look at the volume. 427,000. That's not a lot. That's not even $500,000. The average volume, 893. That's not even 100 grand. There should be millions. If you're gonna put, all right, you know what? I'm not gonna tell you what to do. But 2.16, seriously? The federal government T-bills are 5%. So why the hell are you putting it at 2.6? You could put it into a high yield savings account and get 4%. Or you can just leave it in cash in your brokerage account and get 4%. Why the hell would you put your money, 100 grand, to pick up 2% a year? I don't know. I make 1% a week. So 3 weeks, I've already made more than you do in a whole year. Okay, let's keep on going. Lewis, how are you? Scott King, what's going on? Edwin Pa, how are you today? Thoughts on Mara? We already did Mara a little while ago. Oh, G-Stain, what bud be yapping? How are you doing today? What's my view big time on Nike? We already look at that one. Okay, already did that one. All right. Thoughts on Mara? We already did Mara. All right, Tim McCarty, we already did Campbell, CPB. We already did that one. That was one of the first ones we did. Icon Energy is stating to pay dividends at 3 cents a share. Okay, Betty Town, 76, you got to give me the ticker symbol because I've never heard of Icon Energy. Sorry. Chasing Jack, how are you today? Sean Ferguson, what's happening? Flipper McGee. Thank you. Tyrese, what's happening, brother? No regrets. How are you doing? All righty. TikTok Paul, 25K. I have no idea what that means, Paul. I mean, I know what it means, but you're just dumping it out there, and I have no clue why you're dumping it out there. DMLP, Dorchester Minerals. Uh-oh. I don't know this dude, and I'm about to insult him. DMLP. Okay. TikTok Paul. 17 April, 16 May, 15 August, 21 November. Those are all months of the year. That doesn't work for me. I want, come on, 28 March, 4 April, 11 April, 17 April, 25 April, 2 May, 16 May, 20 June, every single week. The only way I can make weekly cash flow on a monthly optionable stock is to sit in front of my computer all day. Yeah, that ain't happening. Sorry. All right, so let's keep on going. User 27945. I'm going to call you Mikey. Chasing Jacks. APLD by itself gave me 3% today. Cool beans. Feels good when you can make more than 1% a week. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Chasing Jack. Betty Tail, Icon is stated to pay a dividend. It's 9-cent stock energy. Okay, Betty Tail, thank you for showing up. Thank you for your interaction. Icon, I-C-O-N. Icon energy. It has no options. And it's not even, okay, I'm a little confused. Now, I understand you want to interact and you want to pick a diamond in the rough. This just might be it for you. But it doesn't work for me. For what I'm looking for is consistency of profitability. The only way you can get 2 decades, that's 20 years, of consistent profitability. The company has to be in business at least 20 years, bare minimum. All right? And it has to have weekly options, which this does not. Chasing Jack, thank you for that. David, thank you for that. Wagos, thank you. Chris P, how you doing? Paul Brahms, do you use moving averages much? Not at all, not one bit. Now, Paul, you've been here a few times, okay? When I say this was created for my 9-year-old daughter, I can start spewing out a whole shitload of knowledge that will confuse the hell out of 99% of the people here. Okay, there's probably 1 or 2 that may know more than I do. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But when you're trying to teach a 9-year-old, and I'm not trying to insult anyone, when you're trying to teach a 9-year-old, okay, it has to be simple. It's got to be safe, predictable, consistent, and no way for her to lose. When I start explaining the moving averages, well, what are we doing? We're using 30-day moving average, the 50-day moving average, the 100-day moving average, and then what are we using in comparison to the moving averages? Okay, that gets really confusing, especially for a 9-year-old. Lonnie Cook, how are you today? I'm paying off debts for the first, Lonnie, don't be doing that. RG, what's happening? Joseph Garza, how are you today? 75 Corvette, back again. That 13-cent times 5,000 shares, that's a nice little sum, $650. Yeah, do you see how it adds up? Now, if you do that every single week, that's an extra $650 a week. Don't know about you, but that sounds pretty good. All right, we got a few more minutes before we can take a look at a few more stocks before we do just questions. Because the last 15 minutes is usually just questions. Plus the premium for a covered call. Yep. Chasing Jack, thank you for that. Smoker Rich. How are you doing, Smoker Rich? Melodic NG. Do you use cash secured puts? Every once in a while, I do. Decky. What's happening, Decky? Or is it Deaky? I don't know. D-E-K-E. Deaky or Decky? I have no idea. Sandra. How are you doing, Sandra? Clint Kress. Wise Family Living. What stock is this? Icon. Okay, Wise Family, thank you for that. Apple user, Cool Beans. Follow the live creator. Does Riot a dividend aristocrat? No, it's not. Legend, share the live. Thank you for that. Mark the Realtor. Uh-oh, I'm up 13% for the month selling puts. Thank you, James. It really does work. Okay, can't wait to see what my Christmas present looks like, Mark. Aha! Cool beans. Good for you, Mark. How much of your portfolio did you risk? Well, that's a good question. I hate hitting the wrong button. All right, here we go back. Because I have to go all the way back through them and find out where it is. Roje, amen. All right. What's up, GOAT? Thoughts on NICE? Matash, how are you today? NICE, never heard of it. N-I-C-E. I'm talking about the stock, not actually being nice. All right, so Matash, I don't do monthly options. Now, there's a difference between weekly options and monthly options. A monthly option looks like this. 17 April, 16 May, 20 June, 15 August, 17 October. Those are monthly options. Weekly options looks a little bit like this. 28 March, 4 April, 11 April, 17 April, 25 April, every single week. Now, the difference is monthly options I can only do once a month or 12 times a year. I'm retired. I need to have something to do. Okay, I'm enjoying what I am doing. And I'm going to continue doing this until I no longer have enjoyment out of it. But it's been 15 years, and they finally put me in front of a camera and saying, "Have at it." So this is what I'm doing. I'm sharing with you what I am doing, and I'm also leaving let's call it a legacy trail for my children and my grandchildren. Because at some point in time, I'm going to be gone. And they're going to wonder, how did Papa G do what he did? Well, this is a video documentary, so to speak. So I have videos of me doing this all the way back in 2012 or 2013, one of my first videos. But my first blog was 2011. So I've been sharing, that's the word I'm looking for. I've been sharing all my trades since 2011. Okay, now we're in 2025. I've been doing it sharing for 16 years. Interesting. All right, anyway, let's keep on going. Mark the Realtor started with 50 G's portfolio, and I tried to pick up 6 or 7 different companies a week. Up $6 grand. Woohoo! Good to hear it, dude. Chris Moneymaker, MDA. Didn't we try MDA earlier? MDA. Yeah, no options, dude. Apple user 26, 34, 37. Hut. What is that? MIKE. That's not a stock, is it? No, it's not. Top that, baby. YPU used your grandson as an example. What type of account would you open for him? UTMA. No, I'd actually put it into the corporate account. Okay, because the corporation, I can have as many accounts as I want in the corporation, because it's my corporation is held by my family trust. So it's kind of like an umbrella under an umbrella under an umbrella, because I don't want people getting the wrong idea. Why are all stocks down? They're not all of them. Okay. P. Butt Nutter. Okay. Not all of them are down. Some stocks are up. Okay. Even in a Great Depression, some stocks went up. Okay, some stocks go down, some go up. Some go up, some go down. What do you think about Circle K? All righty, Apple user, you actually got to give me the ticker symbol. Cesar wants to take a look at ADP. ADP. Interesting. Let's take a gander. Are you ready? Here we go. The high, the low, where was it, where is it, and what's it doing? Sideways, down, up, down, up, down. Now she's going back up again. Look at that. That's a nice movement after the top. Your high of the year. Then you get your profit taking stop. Now it's going back up again. Well, that looks good. Let's take a closer look at it. But before we do, what do the numbers look like? Look at this, 1.7 million. That's a little bit better than BlackRock's 800,000. All right, 299, let's call it 300. We're going to say no, because the 300 is going for 210 to 255. Yeah, no thanks. Sorry. No to ADP, because the numbers just don't work. Now, don't get me wrong. Every once in a while, I will buy ADP, because it's always, always, always going to be about the numbers. What am I buying it for? What am I selling it for? What premium am I collecting? And is that 1% or more? If it's not, no, thank you. There's 9,970. We looked last week. I check every single week. I go to one certain website and it tells me how many different stocks, companies are available. Well, last week it was 9,970. So out of 9,970, if I'm not getting 1% out of this one, next. That's it. Next. It's a no. That's a no. So let's find one that does work. Now, Jags, we already looked at Nike. Okay. Randall Wait, Randonice. Okay. At what age did you start shifting your portfolio to dividend-focused stocks as opposed to growth? In the 1990s. What was that? 25, 30 years ago? I was in my 30s. Okay. I owned a manufacturing company at the time. And it was one of those manufacturing companies where like me and 3 other people in the whole United States was doing something. Just it. There's just your choice was before. And I was at the low end. Okay? I was a new guy. I was at the low end. But I busted my butt. I shit you not. I literally loaded up my piece of shit pickup truck. It was a 1974 blue pickup truck that I painted with a paintbrush. I shit you not. I loaded up the back of the truck and I'd go to one pet store after another. Okay, I always went to the biggest pet store first. And I tell the guy there, says, if you buy X amount every month from me, I will not sell to anybody else in your metropolitan area. And every single one of them said, oh, hell yeah. Because it was an exclusive product that was handmade by me. I handmade it, I hand painted it. Okay, I busted my ass in this manufacturing company. And I took it from nothing. I started with $55. I shit you not. Started with $55 and I made a bunch of artificial coral. All right? And then I sold it to the biggest pet stores around. And they said, if you don't sell it to anyone else, I'll buy X amount every single month. And then after a certain period, I said, hold on. Go see my friend Steve in Lakeland. Hold on. Go see my friend Vin in Orlando. And he says, hold on. Go see my friend here. Go see my friend here. So I'd go from here to here to here to each metropolitan area, picking the biggest pet stores, and they always bought everything. I just make a phone call, and I can make $20,000, $30,000. But then I had to make the products. But I made so much money, I had to figure out what to do with it. Because you can't take it with you when you go. Yeah, so I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of good things. But needless to say, in my 30s is when I did it. Okay, Aman J, Novo Nordisk. You got to give me the ticker symbol because I've never heard of that company. And Jags, Nike, we already looked at Nike. So if you really want to look at Nike, after we're done here tonight, which should be at 11:30, somewhere in that area, which is not that far away, go back to, it's not on YouTube because I'm having issues. I'm going to have to call Jacob. Anyway, OG China Boy, how? How? Is how even a stock symbol? That'd be weird if it is. No, it's not. Anna, good evening. Stan AD, how are you doing today? Mary June. No, we have not done Kohl's yet. I don't know why. I love Kohl's. Kohl's is giving me, some nice numbers. Wow, waiting for data. I really got to clean up this computer. Very rarely does it ever take that long to put stuff up there. Okay, so when I say Kohl's is one of my best performing stocks, look at the price. Okay, $30, now it's down to $9. That's a 60% drop. So a 60% drop, how could that possibly be my best performing stock? Interesting, isn't it? All right, for some strange reason, I'm having issues. Okay, AT&T popped up, but why isn't Kohl's popping up? Is that Kohl's? Oh, there it is right there. There's Kohl's. All right, so let's do it. Cesar, you want to take a look at APA? That's Apache. Here's the high, here's the low, here's where it was, here's where it is. Look at the movement. Down, up, 939. The 950s are going for 17 to 22. That's almost 2%. Well, that works. Let's take a closer look. A year ago was the high at 29.60. The last 90 days. Okay, check it out. 90-day high, she drops. Here's the bottom right there. Last 30 days. Doesn't that look awesome? Depends on how you're looking at it. Okay, 30-day high, drops, retraces, drops again. Now she's going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to the upside. Okay, so if I buy it at the current price, $9.39, and I sell it to somebody at $9.50, which is a little bit more. The $9.50 is going for 17 to 22. Well, that's that's over 1%. Okay, a little less than 2%, but still. So let's quickly do this one. This is gonna be the last one we do. Now I'm just gonna answer questions. I'm gonna change this to custom stock, and then a covered call I meant. There, one contract at the market to open. Here we go. Buy one covered call of coal. 100, that's the weekly. 28 March, that's this coming Friday. The $9.50 stock option against coals at the market to open. Maximum profit, $30.50. It's gonna cost me $920. Okay. Now it doesn't sound like much of a profit, but let me explain a few things. All right, say $30.50 divided by $920 gives me a grand total of 3.3%. I'm gonna write that one down. Okay, so that's 3.3%. All right, so no more stocks. It is 9:26. I got a bunch of questions to answer, so let's do this. Good. All right, so, okay, Mary June, hope you like that one. Eddie, thank you for that. Thank you for that again, Eddie. Blake Noakes, which dividend stocks do I like? Dividend Kings, Dividend Aristocrats, and Dividend Champion. Tim McCarty, James, you mentioned your margin call recently. You're not making money. How did that happen? Okay, well, there's a huge difference between a margin call and making money. Because here's the thing. When you own a stock, you can sell options against it. Those options are cash flow. But if the value of the stock drops, that cash flow doesn't mean jack. Okay? So it's cash flow that's coming in, even though the stock values are coming down. So how much cash flow is coming in as opposed to how much value is the stock losing? Now also, Tim, remember this. I got 7 accounts. I only had 2 margin calls. Not a big deal. Okay, 2 out of 7, not that bad. And it wasn't that big either. Blake Noakes, you already asked me that. What stocks do I like? Dividend Kings, Dividend Aristocrats, Dividend Champions. William, thank you for that. Jason, April Fool's Day, gonna pump hard, get in early. Okay. Jaden, XRP, nope. 75 Corvette, dude, how are you today? Baba T, I have about 20,000. Please, what stocks can I invest in for me to get a check monthly? Okay, Baba, I don't do monthly checks. I do weekly. There's a big difference between weekly and monthly. But if you want, drop me a number. I will give you a call and we'll chat. Okay? I tell it every night. I say that. If you want to chat, I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I just want to talk to people, see what you're looking for. See how I can deliver better content to you guys, easier, simpler, okay, and more understandable. Okay? So drop me a number. I'll give you a call. We can have a conversation. Bubba T. All right. Jet Lag Turk. How are you today? True that. All right. San. Okay. Bradley, thank you for that. User DH. Abbott Labs. Ooh, I love Abbott Labs, but let's take a look at it tomorrow. Thoughts on the future of AI? Yeah, I've seen, what do you call it? 2001 A Space Odyssey. I've seen The Terminator plenty of times. I've seen a lot of movies where the computers just fuck with humans. Yeah, no, thank you. Dun, 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 dun. Simone, you're a little late tonight. How are you tonight? Okay, UPS, we'll take a look at tomorrow. We already looked at FedEx today. Aman, Nova, Nordisk. You got to give me the ticker symbol. Sunny Patel, how are you today? QQQ, you're going to have to ask me tomorrow. It's 11:30. I'm done. What the hell were you thinking? Timmy, you're absolutely right. What the hell are you thinking? Winter Park of America. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doc 2, AT&T. Love it. Check with me tomorrow. Intel. Ooh, one of my favorites. PNES. We'll have to take a look at it tomorrow because we're past 11:30. How about SAR? S-A-R. Never heard of it. Greekaloo. What's happening? Truth. What do you think about Doge? Are we talking about the coin? Are we talking about opening up the checkbook and finding out what the fuck our money's going? Two totally different subjects. Doge, the cryptocurrency, or Doge, let's open up the country's checkbook and see who's getting what and why. All right. Do it clap UNC. I have no idea what that means, airstrike. Yaki 10, what's going on? David 20160. Okay. Cool beans. Sprite. Hello, James William McKinney from Kansas. Hey, your buddy was telling me about you. How you doing there, William McKinney? Now, you were on Facebook a while ago. I'm good with names. What do I think of tomorrow? Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love ya. Tomorrow, you're always a day. Wait, that? Love it. One of my favorite songs. Dawson's Creek. Thank you for that. Winter Park of America. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Typro. Good evening, and how are you doing today? Daniel LG6. Ford, we'll have to take a look at it tomorrow. 75 Corvette. Chasing Jack. Surrendras. I have 2,000 Redfin on average is $7. Sell, hold for now. I don't do Redfin. They have not been around for 20 years. They do not have consistent profitability. So for me, Redfin's a no. I'm very picky when I invest my money. Now, I don't pretend to know everything. Seriously, I don't. Okay? I always tell people, don't listen to a damn word I say. If I say something, question it. Is it true? Does it make sense? Check the numbers yourself. I didn't come up with these numbers. Okay? This is Charles Schwab. I just type in the stock symbols and read you what the numbers are. Okay? Numbers don't lie. People do. Okay? 1 + 1 is 2 no matter what galaxy you're from. Okay, already answered that question. Tesla, Dawson's Creek. Now, Dawson's Creek, you have been here before. Okay? And I told you many times, I don't do companies that don't have dividends. Now, Tesla, it's very challenging to find out when do they move predictably. Hola, ¿qué pasa, amigo? ¿Cómo está? What about Dell? I love Dell. We'll have to take a look at it tomorrow, though. Brittany Bird, on which one? Okay, don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Courtney Burden, how you doing? Live boxing. Nuju Fresh, how you doing? Brian, what's going on? 75 Corvette, Video Diary. Oh, that's a better one. I like that name, a Video Diary. Okay, Coco A. Helvajan, QQQ. Ask me tomorrow, okay? Because, we're past 11:30. And I got a day tomorrow and a half. Yay, baby! Dude, I'm just getting ready. Seriously, I'm just getting ready to sign off. I got about maybe half a dozen questions to answer, and then I'm done for the day. Okay, 9 p.m. to 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. So, Coco, QQQ, I'll take a look at it tomorrow, but you got to ask me tomorrow. Okay, user 656914487763. Why couldn't your parents just name you Steve? Kyle, 1% based on what? What you have paid for the stock? Okay, Kyle, let me see if I can explain this to you in a simple term. Okay, if my account has $100,000, okay, $100,000, 1% of $100,000 is $1,000 a week. Okay, so if my account has 200,000, I want to get $2,000 a week. Okay, if I have $50,000, I want $500 a week. 1% is 1%. So if you got 5 million, I want 50,000 a week. Okay, it's 1%. IDV has 5.5% dividend. Okay, I'm not quite sure what that means. That's not a question, that's more of a statement. Can you take a look at Alcoa, James, if it is not too late? All right, Chasing Jack, it's 11:35. Okay, I usually quit at 11:30. But like I say at the beginning of every show, I answer each and every individual question. And I will not leave until I answer each and every individual question. Okay? I bought Alcoa at 37.74 a couple of weeks ago. Okay, Chasing Jack, you're here usually every night. So make sure you ask me about Alcoa first thing tomorrow night, and we'll take a good look at it. Okay? Been collecting the premium for 2 weeks now, but I was hoping it would go up. Okay, but the question would be, Jack, remember rule number 1, never buy something you don't understand or you don't want to hold or you don't want to hold forever. Never buy something unless you plan on holding it long term. Okay, because you're buying an investment. And if by chance you get the opportunity to sell it for more than you paid for it, great. Well, then you come back to it when it goes back, because stocks go up, then you sell them, and then when they drop, you buy them. And then when they get, so it's like, think of it as a roller coaster, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So as the stock goes down, okay, when it hits the bottom, it turns around, that's when you buy. Once it goes up at a certain point, well, you want to sell it, let it hit the peak and then come back down again. And then when it comes back down and turns around again, that's all they do. You can look at any single stock. Give me a second. Okay, look at Kohl's. Look at very closely. Okay, up, that's when you sell. When it drops, finds the bottom right there, turns around, goes back up, that's where you jump in. It goes up a couple of points, you get your 1 or 2%, whatever you're looking for, then you sell. Comes back down, then you buy. It goes back up, then you sell. Comes back down, then you buy. Up, sell. Comes down, buy. Goes up, sell. See, that's all it does. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's all stocks do. If you're expecting a stock to come to your house, wash your dishes, take the dog for a walk, empty the trash, and maybe tuck you in at bed, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. They go up, they go down. They don't even write you a postcard. Nothing. Up, down, that's it. Okay? Find a good stock. If you like a good stock, great. Put it in your rotation. It goes up, get rid of it. When it comes down, buy it. Okay? When you get rid of it, fine. Find something else. I have about 300 stocks in my rotation. They all just so happen to be calendar. Tells me exactly what to look for and when. Okay? So this week here, I'm looking at McDonald's, Sherwin-Williams, Stanley Black & Decker, Kimberly-Clark, Pepsi, GPC. Those are the only ones I'm looking at this week. I only pick up 1 or 2, okay? But look at next week. BDX, LIN, ADP, Coca-Cola, T. Rowe Price, Albemarle, Chubb Corporation. Those are the only ones I want to look at this week. And then after that, I only want to look at those. And then after that, that's it. I'm not looking at all the stocks because I only have a certain amount of money that I can buy and sell. All right, so let's keep on going. Thank you, James. Good night. Christ Moneymaker, you have a good evening. Kyle, how about finishing the walkthrough on Kohl's as to what would be the process? Okay, Kyle, you're going to have to check with me tomorrow. It's 11:39. My eyes are getting heavy. It's been a long day. Courtney, good evening. When you first began, what did you start with? I think I started with like 12,000. Did you have a certain amount saved up? Yeah. Back in the 90s, it was 12,000 bucks. That silver guy with hike in stocks today, let's say most calls will be called away. What would make you keep them if I rolled them over and got more than 2%? Looking into the light, 2.7 mil. Chasing Jack, thanks, James. Have a good night. You too. Murph, oh, live boxing. Okay, that's it. That's all of the questions. We are done today. Okay, Luigi. Okay, Nova Nordisk is NVO. It pays good premiums. Great. We'll take a look at it tomorrow. Cesar, we'll take a look at Apache also tomorrow. Getting a little tired. I want to get some rest. Gotta go feed my fish. I got a big fish tank. And guess what? Okay, after the fish tank is all done, I'm gonna have that as my screensaver. It'll be cool. Wait till you see it. All right, Flipper McGee, great job. You guys have a nice night, and we'll catch you again tomorrow. Bye, you guys on Facebook. Bye, you guys on Instagram. And you guys on tickety-tockety. Good night. Sleep tight and pleasant dreams to you. Ooh, wasn't that from Lawrence Welk? With the wish and a prayer that all your dreams